Good morning everyone. सबैलाई नमस्कार र आजको हाम्रो यो दार्जिलिङ डायलग्सको यो सालको पहिलो सेसन I would like to welcome our host Prashant Rai and who is the senior VP and head HR CSR and training for our own financial services, and our guest speaker for today is Vikram Kothari, head partnerships climate fund from Delhi.
Thank you, Vinayak, and welcome, Vikram. Such a pleasure to have you here. Today we have requested Vikram to talk about his journey into this sector and what are some of the career opportunities for people from the hills. ILO le bhancha ki, today climate change basically is so-called the green job. And I feel this sector, really has a lot of potential in terms of his growth and career. And especially दार्जिलिङको जति पनि युथहरु हुनुहुन्छ, जति पनि एन्टरप्रेन्योरहरु हुनुहुन्छ, तपाईहरु यहाँ पर तपाईहरुको लागि एक ग्रेट अपर्चुनिटी हो कि क्लाइमेट रिलेटेड और हामी त एकदमै नेचरसँग जुडित छौं है. So how to make sure that work along with nature and with climate and see how what kind of career opportunities or business opportunities that could be there being in Darjeeling itself and have a sustainable working environment, right? तपाईहरुलाई पनि रिक्वेस्ट गर्छु, अब तपाईहरुको केही क्वेशन छ भने please put it on the chat. We'll be checking out on the chat. If you want to ask, just raise your hand and we will just open it up for you to also interact and chat. Right. So let's make this session more interactive. Right. So over to you, Vikram.
Thank you, Prashant and Vinayak, for giving this wonderful opportunity to interact with the young people. Currently, I am working with the carbon consultants, Fair Climate Fund. So we are reaching out to various institutions, corporates who want to do something on the climate part. So on the one hand, we advise corporates how they can decarbonize their operations, their processes, and simultaneously those who want to offset their carbon emissions, then we help in designing the entire carbon-based project for them. Allow me to share some quick snapshots for you. Yeah. So being working with the Fair Climate Fund and heading partnerships. So Fair Climate Fund, just to give some brief idea about who we are. So we are having a headquarter in Netherlands and working since 2008. Then we started our journey in India in 2015. So initially we worked on different projects, so working with different implementing partners as well as on-ground agencies, third-party auditors. So we designed the entire carbon-based project and ensuring listing to the either gold standard or Vera standard or Plan Vivo, depends on what methodology we have to follow, and then assisting them till the issuance of credit. And if the respective organization prefers to sell these carbon credits or plastic credit, or the new terminology has come, blue carbon credit, so we assist them. Either they can absorb them or they can sell in the international market to monetize those activities. And if required, then we also co-finance certain projects. So our mission is how we can move the entire world towards net zero. So in India, so we have three different verticals that we are working on. The one hand, we act as a carbon financer. So whatever the project we find very lucrative, and we think they will be very high premium quality carbon credits will be there. So we act as a co-financer or an investor in the particular project. And then there will be generally three actors are involved in any of the carbon-based project. One is your carbon developer, like us, the consultants who stitch the entire program. Second actor will be the investor who is putting money in the project. And the third is the implementing agencies who is ensuring on-ground implementation as well as engaging with the respective communities. And we are doing these carbon-based projects, like whether it is a carbon farming is there, or it's a plantation or agriculture kind of activities are there. Then we also doing certain projects on household renewable energy, like ensuring rural communities, those who are using fossil fuels like lakdi वगैरह use करते हैं cooking के लिए. So we introduced clean cook stove projects for them, so they can have a better life. Then, so these, besides the carbon financing part, that we are also into into advisory. So where we assist various corporates how they can measure their carbon emissions, or a more precise word that they generally use is GHG accounting, greenhouse gas accounting or carbon accounting. environment, climate action, it's a new sunrise sector specifically for the young generation. Actions without mission has no sense. So whatever we are trying to achieve, it has to be broken down into few milestones, how and which direction we are moving. If required, we can reach out to the mentors who are the knowledgeable people within your circle, within your network, who can help you. Everybody is having a different quality and different ability to do a particular thing. And we have to monetize, you can say, or put more focus on that particular strength. And most of the time, we fail to understand what is the strength the respective individual is having. So, good to have identified that particular skill, what you have, sharpen more knowledge, more skills, acquire more skills on that particular direction, and go forward to build your career into that.
Vikram, if you could also add on to this, if we are looking at making a career in a climate change or sustainability factor, what are the salary scales or a salary range that a prospective student can look at?
Well, whenever we try to, in fact, at the early stages, so I suggest not to look for a salary as at the initial stages. At the initial stages, what matters is what kind of opportunity you are getting, what kind of brand or what kind of organization you are associating, what type of culture they are having, and whether there is an opportunity to learn or not. If you are looking only for the salaries at the initial level, your job become monotonous. So prefer to look where you find some exciting, challenging roles. Salary will come to you, not an issue. Money will come, money will follow you. Maybe after 2 years or 3 years, so you will get what you are expecting. Few may be getting 50,000 rupees a month, few are getting lakh rupees a month. It all depends what quality, what value additions, or what additionality I am bringing on the table to the respective employer or to my client or to my consultant with whom I'm trying to associate. It all depends on the content that I am having. What difference I can bring. Whatever we are trying to do, we have to ensure that my future generations are able to enjoy what is available. And I am withdrawing only those kind of those metals or minerals which is sufficient for me without disturbing the nature and climate.
Let us also go to the participants if they have any questions for you.
Yeah, that
In
will be
between,
paused
I'll
for the
keep
time
doing
being.
that. Yeah, because I think that will also be helpful because they would also have a lot of things to ask. So over to you guys. If you have any questions, please raise it. तपाईहरुको कुनै पनि question छ भने तपाईहरुले नेपालीमा पनि सोध्न सक्नुहुन्छ. If not, then you can even ask in any language, Hindi or for that matter, English, anything.
Prasanjit has to say something.
Go ahead, Prasenjit.
Hi. Hello. Can you hear me?
But
Yeah,
hey,
yeah.
Yes.
welcome.
Thank you, Vikram. So basically, right now I'm in Darjeeling working on a startup project which is on waste management.
Okay.
So basically, we are trying to build a waste management and learning center where we'll be trying to bring all kind of waste from Darjeeling and trying to upcycle, whether it is plastic, glass, or paper.
That's great.
Now, I wanted to understand from you if we do something like this in terms of waste management. So, can we apply in carbon credits or plastic credits?
Definitely.
And how we can go ahead and what is the process? If you can explain a little bit.
Well, quickly, if I can, if I have to answer or that specifically the waste management sector is concerned, so they, especially for the plastic credits, where the plastic is considered. So there are two ways. One is on the plastic collection, and second on the how we can recycle it further, and what kind of tonnage we are having on daily basis or a monthly basis, and how sustainable our operations and the processes are there. Certain investment is also there, and these are the basics things. And whether it's a plastic credit or it's a carbon credit, so generally the process, the methodology that everybody follows is the number one is doing the feasibility study. So feasibility is like a rough estimation whether the project is become viable or not for the investor and for the respective communities as such. So during this feasibility study, we try to measure how much carbon can be generated or can be earned during the entire program. Once after doing a study of 7 weeks or 8 weeks, we reach out to certain estimations, like it can be 20,000 credits or it can be 10,000 credits. Then we do certain more additional and trying to build the entire project. Once it is considered a viable thing to go further and make certain investments, then the entire project is stitched with respect to ensuring from the social and economic perspective, what additionality we are bringing in the process or in the system, and why the carbon credits or the carbon financing is required for the particular project. So once this is proved and documented properly or articulated well, then the entire project is submitted to either gold standard, Vera standard, or Plan Vivo standard, considering the what methodology we are preferring, which is suitable to the project. And then we submit for the listing part. After the listing, then the third-party auditors raise certain queries considering the project, that which organization and why we are following a particular methodology, who are the beneficiaries, and they have their own terminology or set of queries. As a consultant, then we answer those queries in a satisfactory manner. Once it is satisfied after 2-3 email exchanges, and then the project is listed or registered later on with the gold or WES standard or a Plan Vivo standard. And once the project is registered, then it means that we are 100% assured that the carbon will be generated, carbon credits will be generated, and we are going to earn it during the life of maybe for 5 years, 10 years, and whether the first issuance of credit will happen after 3 years or 4 years on regular basis till the life of the project. And the time period for the listing and registry generally takes around 18 to 24 months, you can say. So it requires a serious conversation, and serious investments are there, and serious people are only welcome in the carbon credit part. Because once you design a project and build it further and submitting it, so you have to ensure that whatever we are communicating, what practices we are trying to convey to follow by the respective communities, farmers, or especially in the waste sector. So we stick to that particular framework, because there will be third-party or auditor is coming for verification. Then verification will also happens through satellite images. Geotagging is required. So I can say physical verification as well as with the help of technology, we try to monitor what we are proposing in the project, whether it is going at par or not. So it's a tedious task, and ultimately it will be beneficial to the communities also, because whatever the carbon we are generating, so with any of the investors, so the agreement goes, it can like that 70% or 80% is generally taken by the investor as return from the investment side, and 20% or 30%, so whatever the mutually agreed percentage, it goes to the respective communities. So that can be their additional income by following any changes in their cropping pattern, or doing any change in the best practices that they follow. So without using any pesticides or any chemical change or some change in the tillage or with the soil part. So whatever the best the domain experts are suggesting to bring some additionality and making sustainable the respective project, so carbon credits can be generated. So either it can be in India we are working, or in Africa, or in other neighboring countries. So wherever the project has to be done, mostly in the developing countries. So we have to abide by the project terminal framework, whatever we are proposing, what methodology we are proposing to the respective regulator as such.
Thank you.
Nishant has a question. Nishant, go ahead.
Yes, hello. Greetings to everyone, sir.
Hello, Nishant. Can you introduce yourself?
So I'm a student of Darjeeling Government College, and I'm live in Darjeeling also, sir.
Great.
So I would like to know, sir, how the tree plantation can earn a carbon credit, sir.
As I said, trees are also qualified under the plantation category of the nature-based solutions. So again, feasibility has to be done. Then the land on which we are growing these plants, so that is also plays an important role. It has to be a degraded land, or where there is no crop pattern, there's no cropping happened as such. So at least we can say what is the additionality we are bringing by having a barren land or a degraded land we are using for the plantation part. Again, and these projects should not be more than 1 year old as such to consider and building a project. And the carbon credit specifically in the plantation segment, it generally comes after 4 years or 3 years after the trees has achieved certain age. At the initial stages, the number of credits which are coming is very less, but after 5 years or 6 years, it becomes very huge amount.
Okay, so thank you, sir.
Just to add to what Vikram said, एउटा project नै छ, one company is there called Aviskar. As a matter of fact, I work for that company at a larger scale. It's my group company. जहाँ आजको दिनमा there is also a fund, right? जसरी पैसा हामीले attract गरेर लिएर आउँछौँ, त्यो फन्ड छ जुन फन्डले गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ अगर हामी जति ज्यादा ट्रिजहरू क्याचमेन्ट एरियामा ग्रो गर्छौँ त्यति नै हामी त्यो ट्रिजको बेसिसमा हामीले त्यो कार्बन क्रेडिट पाउन सक्छौँ। त्यसको बेसिसमा त्यो कम्पनीले ट्रेड गरेर तपाईहरुलाई त्यो पैसा पनि प्रोवाइड गर्न सक्छ। त्यसले गर्दाखेरि दुईटा कुरो हुन सक्छ। एउटा कुरो के हो भने you are also planting trees and making sure that the whole environment is maintained and the eco balance is maintained. At the same time, you are also earning money out of that, right? So we have to also look into, and Darjeeling ma मलाई लाग्छ तपाईहरु जस्तो युथहरुले त्यो सोच्नु पर्ने कुरा हो in terms of innovation and thoughtfulness कि कसरी हामीले environmental चीजलाई मध्यनजर राख्दै, right, we do something which is sustainable for the environment at large. At the same time also, it becomes economically viable for the community and for you as an individual as well, right? Just think about that. I'm just leaving that as a thought for you guys to think about it. And might be, आजको दिनमा यस्तो पनि छ कि जहाँ धेरैवटा startups-हरु, and I'm happy to see that Prashanjit is doing something on waste management. There are a lot of such kind of startups which are there, which are working on waste management, which are working on solving environmental related issues which are there, whether it be on carbon side, whether it be on some other aspects related with environment, sustainable living, ecotourism, है। जसमा तपाईहरुले एउटा वर्किङ मोडल सम्म अगर तपाईहरुले लिएर आउन सक्नुभयो भने त्यसलाई, right, there are a lot of angel funders who are there, there are a lot of venture capital funders who are into impact investment, जसले चाहिँ तपाईहरुलाई त्यो कुरामा फन्ड गर्नु सक्छ, पैसा प्रोवाइड गरेर तपाईहरुको भेन्चर, तपाईहरुको आइडियालाई अझै ठुलो गर्न दिनु सक्छ। तर त्यो आइडिया हुनु बहुत जरुरी हो। हामी पनि दार्जिलिङ डायलगबाट आउँदो दिनमा त्यसै माध्यम गएर, I mean, we are trying to make some kind of incubation center and have some master classes how to get incubation, because हामीलाई लाग्छ कि तपाईहरु जस्तो युथहरु जति पनि हुनुहुन्छ दार्जिलिङमा, तपाईहरुकोमा पनि धेरैवटा यस्तो आइडियाजहरु छ होला जसले गर्दाखेरि सोसाइटल चेन्जेस क्यान बी ब्रट अबाउट। र त्यसलाई if you have to fuel that, हाम्रो समयमा we didn't had people to support us, or for that matter we didn't had that kind of fund to raise, or we didn't know where to go. तर आजको दिनमा यति जना मेन्टर्सहरु हुनुहुन्छ, यति जना फन्ड पैसाहरुलाई लिएर त्यो भेन्चर्सलाई ठुलो गर्न सकिन्छ, right? There's a lot of opportunity. So I think just think about it. The sky is the limit, right? म त्यही भन्न चाहन्छु तपाईहरुलाई। Anybody has any other questions? Nishan wanted to say something.
Also, sir, I have one more question, sir.
भन।
So, how is carbon credit differs from a carbon offset, sir?
That's a good question.
Okay, what happens whenever, as I said, the first step is always to measure how much carbon as a factory or the corporate I'm emitting in the environment. So after doing the particular carbon accounting or the greenhouse gas accounting, then we design strategies how we can make it balance, right? How much we can reduce it further. So during those decarbonization strategies, so like for example, during emissions, I found that I am emitting around 1,000 tons of carbon credit. To make it balance and decarbonization, so I build certain strategies and reduce, and by internal processes and bringing some efficiency, so I am able to reduce it by 600 tons per, right? So from thousands, I came down to 600 tons. Now still 400 tons are still available, which I have to settle it down or make it zero. So then how to make it zero? There are two options are available. So these 400 tons of carbon credit, so either I can buy from the market as we buy shares in the, so to reduce it, to make it balance, or second option is either let me invest in a project which can generate this much amount of carbon credit. So I absorb whatever the carbon credits are generated from my investment, from my invested project, and make it balance of zero. So when we design for these 400 tons of carbon credit, then we work on different, what kind of project is suitable to the respective organization. Either it can be nature-based solutions, or we can think of some clean cook stove kind of a project, or depending upon the nature of services or the product which the company is offering. So whether I can build a project, a carbon-based project, to make it more appealing to the investors as well as to the commuters, to the common people as such. Like in Delhi, there is a new taxi services was started by Blue Smart Cab, right? So they are running all the cabs on electric vehicles. So we designed the entire project and prove the methodology and work on the new methodology, as well as prove the additionality that without using any fuel like petrol or diesel or CNG, we are saving environment and doing a sustainable business as such. So this the entire methodology and our concept is approved by Vera, and the project is listed. And next month they are getting they will be get carbon credits for the first year, which will be issued to them. So it all matters ki what kind of project you are coming up, what is the nature of the project, how you are designing it, what methodology or process you are suggesting, and what additionality is there. So if any, in all earlier projects, there is no methodology available to prove that we are saving certain credit. So we are saving certain carbon. So we can make or propose a new methodology. So new methodologies are also being approved by the respective regulators, either Gold, Vera, or Plan Vivo. Then we can go ahead with the respective project also.
So I'd just like to briefly introduce Bharat Yalmo over here. He's an entrepreneur who's starting up his own startup over here in Darjeeling, and it's a little bit interesting because it's a sustainable kind of a business. So Bharat, if you can just briefly introduce what you are doing and then put up your question, please.
Thank you, Vinita. Sir, we have just starting in the month of February, we are going to launch a compostable, bag which is made of cornstarch.
Okay.
So, my question is that in this process, compostable manufacturing unit we have set up in Ghum out in Darjeeling. So, how can we earn the carbon credit out here, sir?
Well, there has to be certain aspects we have to judge and measure whether we are going in the right direction. Also matters what is the tonnage, how much quantity we are converting, right? And what methodology we are following, what process we are following for the particular business in the trade you are having.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. So the feasibility study has to be done to understand whether it makes sense to invest further in the project or not.
Okay, sir.
So there is no, I can say, the smart move by just building a project and submitting for the carbon credits. So it will be a wise decision to first doing a feasibility study whether it makes sense to invest or not, and whatever the carbon we are estimating from the respective process. So it is a good quantity is available or not. For example, biocomposting. So maybe we are able to have, like, after 2 years, 1,000 tons of carbon credit, right? And to make the process feasible, and we have to invest X amount of money, and the carbon that we are getting, which is a very negligible as such. So we have to wait for certain 2 years or 3 years. After that, we will apply for this.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. So we have to also ensure whether it's a good numbers are available. Like in case of plantation, so we generally prefer to have minimum 5 lakhs of plants are there, or 5 lakh trees are available if we are planting in a year.
So, Vikram, that's what I understand is the first thing that needs to go is the feasibility process.
Correct.
So how do for a new project or for Bharat to go about the feasibility process? So what is the, if you can break that down a little bit to understand?
What happens during the feasibility study, we also try to explore it during the same lines whether any other organization is doing the similar or earning any carbon credit or not. Is there any methodologies available with the respective regulator? If it is available, then we try to see how it is matches with our current processes. If it is not, then we have to build a different methodology. So during the feasibility, that this is the I can say the process or the stages that we try to figure it out during the 2 months or 3 months study framework that we do, how to move it further in the right direction.
So this feasibility study, Vikram, is it cost? Does it cost very much, or how does it go about?
Well, it generally it varies from, I can say, 3 lakhs to 5 lakhs or sometimes 7 lakhs as well. It depends upon the nature of operations, the nature of the data that we have to play. Yeah, because it's all working with the data. And if we are already having certain baselines, so how much the respective data points we are having. If the data sets are not available, then again we have to wait for 1 year to make the baseline. Then from the baseline to the next year, in the next 1 year, so what delta we have created as such, and how the environment or the sustainability works in, how it is beneficial to the, or if I'm earning carbon credit, so whether I'm making certain changes in the lives of the people who are associated with my factory as such, to make certain better their livelihood. So social and society angle has to be explored. So a lot of permutation combination has to be done to ensure the project looks viable, and how we can articulate it well, how we can communicate it or document it properly to the respective regulators. And so when they're going to study and going to prove it, so it can be easily approved by them as one of the valid projects. Various schemes are introduced by the government as such for MSME category, so they can go for loan from SIDBI, NABARD, or the respective banking and financial sector, to if they are making any capital expenditure as such for the financing part also. So tools are there, but as far as the feasibility part is concerned, so it not be I can say that any Tom, Dick, and Harry is coming for the feasibility part. So that's why the cost is still on the higher side. And what happens is once the feasibility is ensured that and we get some visibility, the respective entrepreneur and the respective consulting organization or the investor, then we can reach out to the investor that who is going to further co-finance a project or 100% financing who can. Because whenever the investor comes in the project, so X amount or X percentage he will take as from the carbon credits which are generated, and whether it is high premium or not.
Thank you, Vikram.
So
So
all
just
the
to
options are available. All the options are available, and what matters is how strong the entrepreneur and his thought process, what are his credentials, so whether it will be a sustainable business or not. But it should not be a fly-by-night kind of an operator who just opened his business and maybe after 6 months or 9 months he's not finding feasible, and he opens another business and shut it down. So then the entire project goes on a toss.
Tato के question छ तिम्रो पनि याला?
Yeah, Vikram, as you said, about the project in Delhi, that sounded really interesting because, all these taxi services are a major emitters also, no? So, converting it into electricity is a very strong idea. And for that part, what kind of government schemes must be there to, support these kind of projects, or
Like in case of a small, like in case of medium MSME category, right? You
Right.
can Google it further. Spurti is there, which helps entrepreneurs in capacity building.
I didn't get you. Can you come again, please?
Text we have, maybe have a look on this chat. Spurti scheme.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is introduced by the government, which they are giving some soft loans to build their capacity, to buy certain equipments, or so considering the limited time frame. So when we are going for a carbon financing, so I'm a little bit in a hurry, I can say. So from the carbon financing perspective, first the entire deal has to be screened, whether how it is beneficial, mutually beneficial. Then the MOU, member of understanding, then initiating the project, investors onboarding, registration, implementation, and then monitoring verification. On the right-hand side, there are a few on-ground implementing partners who are working in the domain from so many years, having good credentials and stronghold on the communities where these guys are working. or whenever we fund, we screen certain carbon financing kind of a projects where we are also investing. So we have to ensure whether it is going to be sustainable or not, what additionality we are bringing in the lives of the people or in the concept, and it should be fair and transparent. So there is no greenwashing as such. We have you must have heard this word greenwashing, where different organizations or few institutions are claiming to be doing certain good activities towards climate action, but this is just a greenwash. So this is an eyewash, I can say. So they are not doing anything just to gain some media visibility. So they are claiming to be doing ABC kind of different activities. So either it can be household energy projects or it can be nature-based solutions. Feasibility assessment is required, then carbon project development is required, and then trading of carbon credits. So either can so different kind of projects, different interventions as such. So we are going to measure the footprints, how much risk is associated with the respective footprints. Then we build different carbon strategies and then look for the offsetting. When we talk of offsetting, it means how we can plan our investments in future. These are the few projects that we are working across India, few in Punjab, Haryana with the stubble burning, with the CII, then electric mobility we are working in Delhi with Blue Smart, then fuel plantation projects, clean cook stoves, then water purification, afforestation and sustainable agriculture land management practices, soil carbon, and then plantation projects in Andhra Pradesh. So different territories, different projects, and it all depends what the scope and what is any preference by the client, respective investor on the state they have to work. And this is the most beautiful slide I love to show the credentials of the few partners we are working as such. That's it from my end in the limited time frame that I am having. So I believe it's beneficial to some of the people as such.
I'm sure it is helpful, Vikram, and I think thank you very much for your time. It's been really helpful for all of us. I think it's just the starting. Many people may not be aware about some of these terms which are there, which you're talking about. But I think the most important thing is, if they're interested, they can go and search it. They can, have a look into, read a little bit more. And obviously, when we do the larger mentoring program, you would definitely be part of that program. So there, I think we'll have more such interactions. This is just an introductory program that we wanted to have. But I think we'll have a more engaging interaction with you as we move ahead with the Darjeeling Dialogue, right? So over to you, Vinayak.
Thank you, Vikram, for this interesting session. And thank you, Prashant, for being a host and a moderator for this. अनि तपाईँ सबैजनालाई जो आज जोइन गर्नुभयो तपाईँ सबैजनालाई धेरै धेरै धन्यवाद है अनि प्रशान्तले भनेको जस्तै we will be having more mentoring sessions later on. हामीले एउटा गुगल फर्म तपाईहरुसँग शेयर गरिरहेका छौं है त्यसमा जोइन गर्दै जानुहोस् तपाईहरुलाई हामी टाइममा जब मास्टर क्लासेसहरु हुन्छ या हाम्रो मेन्टरशिपहरु हुन्छ त्यो पनि हामी अनाउन्स गर्दै जान्छौं र आजको प्रोग्राम यसैमा एन्ड गरौँ होला Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Vikram. Thank you, Prashant. And thank you, everyone, for joining. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Take care.
Dhanyavad all. Bye.
Thanks.